What's up, y'all? This is Devin from DHR2 Productions, and welcome back to my channel. So we are live, and yes, we are going to be reacting to Dr. Phil, episode 126. Yeah, the coronavirus senators. So basically, it's about these young generation you have now that are not listening to what the people are telling them to stay at home instead of going and partying it, knowing that this whole coronavirus is still spreading out there. So what we're going to take a look at, folks, is a true example of idiotic people in this day and age. So let's all have a turnaround and have a look and enjoy the show.
From large-scale public gatherings. To ensure that people start taking the coronavirus pandemic seriously, some cities across the country, in states such as Colorado and New Jersey, have already ordered residents to shelter in place. But on Thursday, March 19th, California Governor Gavin Newsom ordered the entire state's nearly 40 million residents to
If you guys can
stay
hear, let me
home,
know.
making it the first state to impose that strict mandate on all residents to counteract the increase of new infections. The order took place effective immediately and remains in place indefinitely. On Friday, March 20th, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said the state is being put on pause and people should only leave home for real urgent emergencies. Gatherings of any size are prohibited. This is just simply not life as usual. We have never seen anything like this. In very New York style, he said, deal with it. But there are many out there who are not taking this seriously, who roll their eyes and make fun of these orders of protection.
Yeah.
And that's what I intend to address with you today. Now, listen, I've heard people, young and old, saying, look, this is a conspiracy.
No, it ain't no conspiracy.
Up to make people afraid, to get control, that it's some kind of economic conspiracy, it's some kind of political conspiracy. But let me tell you, science doesn't lie.
It doesn't.
And if you look at the video,
but some science just don't make any sense.
Italy,
so,
for example, where they're actually having to bring in military trucks and haul the bodies out, and you see the families weeping as their family members are dying, and people that don't have respirators to help their family members, then I can tell you this is no drama that's being made up. I have very close friends that are on staff at Cedars-Sinai Hospital here, which is just a few miles from my home. I've had them come on the show and speak as experts. I've talked to them myself. These are my personal friends that I have known for years and years. They've been in our home with Robert and I, having dinner many times. I know these people personally, intimately, and they can tell me, look me straight in the eye and tell me this is real. This is a virus that is deadly. It is 20 times more contagious than influenza.
yeah.
That's why it is so important to follow these guidelines. So let's talk about how coronavirus spreads. This virus is thought to spread mainly from person to person.
Yeah.
Now, that means if they sneeze or they cough, then a droplet from them gets into your mucous membranes. That means it gets into your eyes, it gets into your mouth, it gets into your nose, it gets on your hands, and then you touch your face, and it's absorbed into your mucous membranes in your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and then you can be infected. It can be on a surface, and you can touch the surface and then touch your face. That's why wearing a mask can keep you from touching your mouth and putting it inside your mouth. Wearing a mask can protect others from you sneezing and a droplet from you going into their mouth or into their eyes.
And that's the one thing that kind of bugs me sometimes, though. A lot of people don't even take the situation seriously. They're not really protecting, wearing masks, and they're not really washing their hands or carrying little bottles of hand sanitizers with them, especially if you're going shopping. You should also wear gloves. And the one trick I learned is that when you're wearing gloves going to the store shopping and stuff, always wear gloves. And once you finish shopping, always use some hand sanitizer to rub on the gloves. So that way you can kill the germs. And That's the one thing I've learned. So
In the United States, we have 14,631 cases. This will have changed by the time you're watching this. And the total deaths in the U.S. are 182. And 121 of that 14,000 have recovered. And this comes from Johns Hopkins. So the point is that this is very real. It is very serious. And if you're telling yourself it's
and
not,
people better start taking it seriously too because this is no joke.
they think, well, that's my right.
And why do you think New York is on lockdown because of it?
When you do that, it is a selfish thing to do, and that is not responsible. And we're going to talk about that today. Despite the pressure on citizens to stay home during the coronavirus outbreak, there are people who are still attending events with hundreds of people, as well as hanging out on beaches. I'm sure you've all heard about the 21-year-old college student who went viral on TikTok.
Oh yeah, this is what I was waiting for. Yeah, stupid, stupid.
Headed to spring break festivities in Miami. I mean, what the hell was she thinking?
Exactly.
That's just got to be the understatement question of the day. She says it's the media's fault for making it a worldwide.
Bull crap.
Well, I'm going to dial her on Zoom in just a minute. We'll be right back.
No, I don't agree with that crap. Alright, so the part where she actually says that it's the media's fault for starting it. No. You the one that got into it, and you the one that went viral, and you the one who started this mess, and now you're gonna have to face the consequences. And the fact that you're gonna say that blame it on the media, you should be blaming yourself for creating this mess. But I don't understand that this young generation is not taking this situation seriously. Whether they have it or not, they better thank the Lord that they don't got it yet. They probably have because they're the one licking the toilets and stuff. That's my biggest problem I'm having with these idiot kids nowadays. Like, come on, y'all. Like, it's all about taking this situation seriously. Like, come on. Your health and your mind and your life is more important. You need to, like, take precautions of your health. Like, get it checked or go get tested. And I don't see a whole lot of people doing that. And they're out there partying and stuff, going on these Ocean City sidewalks and stuff, knowing that the whole beach and everything out there is closed. I mean, good grief. Like, how many more L's have people going to be taking? I don't know, y'all. This is why I've always say, you know, these young people these days, they really don't have a clue or understand the problem. And they rather go to these college parties and dancing and stuff despite the doctor's orders, and now they're gonna learn from their mistakes. They may not understand it, but they're gonna regret what they did. Like I said, it. Oh my goodness. Be right back, you guys. Here we go, y'all. It's back on.
Public outrage and warnings from health experts who feared they would become infected and spread the virus to their family members. Now, 21-year-old Ava is a former guest who once told me she wanted to be insta-famous.
Seriously?
I invited her to join me on this Zoom.
I thought she changed.
Sitting in my kitchen because I'm respecting all of the guidelines saying stay at home. So I've rigged something up where I can talk from my kitchen because.
Bruh, are you for real?
All about this. I feel like I have a responsibility to do so. So I invited her to join me on this Zoom session.
Oh my God, Dr. Phil, you better roast the crap out of this girl.
After she posted herself,
I thought she looked familiar.
Very unhygienic, while on a plane to Miami for spring break.
Stupid.
The coronavirus outbreak. So Ava, are you there?
Hi. Did you miss me?
Good to talk to you again. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Well,
Well, this
okay,
girl.
I've got a question. What the hell were you thinking when you're licking a toilet seat on an airplane on the way to spring break when the country shut down?
One, I had way dirtier things in my mouth.
Oh, wow.
Two, I bleached that. Three, private plane. Flew down on my sugar daddy's plane with my best friend. So, really, it wasn't that dirty. Like, I wasn't putting myself or anyone else at risk.
Okay, well, you just said you bleached
it. wasn't that dirty.
Oh,
my God.
You also say you did it to show that there's no danger.
Oh, I'm getting angry, y'all.
Be concerned. So if there's no danger and everybody shouldn't be concerned, then why did you bleach it?
Exactly.
Well, I bleached it because people like poop on there. That's why.
Go.
Well, you didn't say that. You didn't say I'm gonna bleach this and lick it. I'm gonna clean it like it was in a lab, and then I'm gonna bleach it. So you lied to people.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what the media is doing. I think with this entire virus. Obviously, it was a social experiment more than anything else. I wanted to pout off it, and I was like really annoyed that.
I want to rage so bad, man. But this girl is.
Have like a song going viral right now, and no one was covering it, so I decided to hop on the Corona wave. But yeah, I just did lie to people. Yeah, I did, and it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. So
a girl like her thought she changed on Dr. Phil.
Fake news.
She has to learn a thing.
Represent like the whole Gen Z population, and I'm not terrified of this.
You should be terrified.
That your generation and boomers are scared of, and I capitalized off of it, and it made mainstream media. So I'm sure there was government officials freaking out about it, things like that. I manipulated headlines in the political.
Oh my God.
Ring. I had Meghan McCain talking about me. I was on The View, and I was sitting at home laughing.
It's your fault, dummy. You the one got yourself into this.
What the hell? These people literally blew this up out of proportion and created a fake headline.
Okay, let's move on a step further. You then went to spring break and hung out on the beach with a bunch of people.
I was fine. I made out with a bunch of people.
Oh my God. Yeah, she a hoe.
My immune system was down from all the drinking and drugs.
You're a hoe.
And I should have coronavirus, but I don't. And no one down there does. There's not a lot of cases in Miami. And
you going around kissing random dudes, drinking and doing drugs.
Entertaining for you, but then if you walk by somebody, or you go in the store, or you go somewhere and you sneeze or cough, or you touch a surface after touching your mouth or your eyes, and then someone comes along that is immunocompromised, that does have a respiratory problem.
Man, this whole episode just pisses me off, bro.
Germs, you're putting their life
exactly.
in danger so you can entertain yourself.
Yeah.
And that is ridiculously selfish and ridiculously irresponsible, so you can have 15 minutes of fame.
Well, that's their problem, first of all, not mine.
It's not their problem. You're the one that's doing it.
Yes.
Ridiculously irresponsible and selfish is that your generation only cares about this virus because it affects you.
Oh my God.
When it affects
you. This girl is so dumb in the head right now.
You guys are the ones dying of it, not us.
What?
So you're blaming
us.
And you're saying that you're blowing this pandemic to crazy proportions, instilling fear in the nation because you feel like it affects boomers. If it affects young people, you guys just find a way to blame
She
them.
is so.
This pandemic affects you, so you're locking everyone down and instilling fear globally.
I can't believe what I'm hearing right now, y'all.
That is so absurd. I don't
it is.
Respond to that. It's so ridiculous. The fact is, this is affecting young people as well. Young people are dying from this as well. Do you even know how to spell science?
I'm a senior at Rutgers, and now I don't get to graduate.
Won't you spell it then?
Nothing's happening, which is fine. Like, it's not like I really went to class. This whole thing's a joke.
So you think this is
what?
Created by Twitter? That's what you're saying.
I think yeah. Well, one cloud started this virus. A bunch of girls in China started eating exotic animals for views on YouTube, and I know for a fact that those bats probably do not taste good. They just wanted to shock people, and I get it because I'm a cloud chaser myself. So this started a pandemic.
We have to take a break.
Yeah, please. I'm getting angry already, bro.
Our spoiled and entitled behavior. We're going to pick that up right now.
Yeah. I can't even. I can't believe this girl. Like, she is on there so dumb-minded and don't even have a clue and realizes that this situation is getting terrible. And then she goes to blame and trying to say that our generation cares about the health and everything. And while she's young, that she's okay with doing the stuff that she's doing, going around kissing on people, drinking and doing drugs while on spring break, knowing that this whole coronavirus situation is getting whole, it's already worsened. It's bad enough that this disease is already spreading everywhere, and then on top of that, you just act like it's okay. Then you want to say that it's a joke. Tell me one good reason. What is this to joke about this coronavirus? Please explain that. Because I will guarantee you, once you get the whole virus, guess what? That's on you, sweetie. You the one did it. And Dr. Phil, y'all, listen. Dr. Phil is trying to explain to this girl, like, look, you basically are going to end up having people affected to those around you, and you're going around doing the unthinkables, knowing that everybody is dying left and right from this disease, and sooner or later you're going to end up catching it. And guess what? You have nobody to blame but yourself. And you know what? It's funny because I thought this girl looked familiar when she was on Dr. Phil twice. Her first appearance is that she was all about social media getting popular, you know what I'm saying, trying to make people jealous, claim that people are jealous of her, that hating on her because she's doing all this on social media, like being all famous and all that. And then the second time she came on and tried to explain to this other guest who was just like her, and you literally thought that she changed for the better. But it seems like she's gotten a whole lot worse because and now that I know who this girl is, I feel like she's is by far the true definition of young and dumb. Like seriously, if these people have the brains, they wouldn't be doing how they doing this. Like you need to stay home and stay safe. That's why it's called washing your hands, wearing the mask, using the hand sanitizers, and try to eat healthy the best way you can. Like I know life is a struggle and everything, but good lord, like this girl is just pissing me off because she's still not understanding physically and mentally about this whole thing. And the reason why I'm ranting like this is because of what just transpired. And Dr. Phil tried to explain to her, look, you're gonna get somebody sick one day and it's gonna be your fault. I'm telling you.
And the White House, due in part to what some people call a spoiled and entitled attitude. Now, I want to talk to 21-year-old Ava, who says older people are the ones really at risk for coronavirus, and younger people just need to get outside and enjoy life.
Bull crap.
Now, Ava, here's my problem. Do you have any concern about the fact that if you just get outside and enjoy life and
I bet you she don't.
perpetuate the spread of this virus, that you put more older people at risk? Does that concern you at all?
No.
Of course you don't, cause she.
Based on what I'm hearing here in this conversation, I wouldn't be surprised if you're part of the Illuminati or whatever government officials are pushing this virus. Because like you're wealthy, obviously well known. I just don't think that this is as concerning as possibly as it could be because I don't have coronavirus.
Yo, I
don't
swear
have
to.
any symptoms. No one I know has symptoms, and I was with thousands of people down in spring break, and I was kissing people. I was acting out. Like I was being promiscuous. I was doing all these things and having a good time.
No, it's not having a good time. That's called getting people sick.
You're calling me selfish, but like
You are.
You are the ones who are concerned because you're concerned about yourselves because you're the ones who could die, and we can't. And so you're
man. This girl is getting on my nerves, man.
Ava, wait a minute. You don't understand. Out of 508 cases, 20% of those cases were between the age of 20 and 44. According to the CDC, between February 12th and March 16th, 12% of those were in the ICU. Young people are getting this. 40% between the age of 20 and 54. So young people are getting this. You can't You might look. Are you just saying this to get attention? You
Yeah.
can't do
No,
this
I don't. I
Yeah.
totally think based on
Yeah, she's an attention-seeking whore. That's what she is.
news, and that there was literal reports in the mainstream media that cocaine could cure coronavirus. Now everyone's surprised because there
As
was a
if.
down spring break and no one had it. So maybe that's why that was rumor was created. I don't know, but it's like the fact that these fake news reports, and my own fake news report, I was on Fox News. Like I was mainstream media for
Oh
a
my
couple
God,
of
this
days,
girl is
and
just.
it wasn't real. So I just don't know what's true and what's not. I genuinely
If you
don't.
infect one person that loses their life, is it worth
She
it
wouldn't
for you to
care.
have this attention?
I don't. Yeah, I'm hearing you talk, and you're like, "Oh, you're gonna kill somebody." Like, you know what? Like, I'll pull up and I'll cop on you. Like, I'm just tired.
Oh
of it.
my
It's
God,
ridiculous.
seriously?
What's ridiculous is your spoiled and entitled attitude.
Yeah.
You're the boomer. You're the spoiled one.
Everybody
Oh my.
in the country needs to recognize the
Oh,
danger
man.
associated
This girl's
with a
making me
highly
mad.
contagious virus here. This is not a typical virus that you can pick up by
And she's not
same way
taking.
you do the flu. The flu kills a lot of people. It's true. This virus is much more contagious and much deadlier than influenza. This is something that we need to respect, or we're going to overwhelm the medical system, and everyone is going to be impacted. You're going to be impacted. Your graduation was canceled. This is impacting you.
Well, it is, but like honestly, I'm not complaining because now, you know, it just gives me the time to do other things and pursue other projects besides school. And I know a lot of people my age are looking at this.
Oh my
you know, you're
God,
gonna say we're not
man.
taking this seriously. You're giving us no reason to take it seriously. And it's like I'm looking
What?
at this and I'm like, this is just a bunch of older people pushing concern on something and limiting us and limiting our freedom over something that scares them right before an election of a controversial president.
Oh my God, dude, this girl.
Let me finish this conversation by saying this. I want to appeal to everyone to completely disregard everything you're saying because I think it is absolutely absurd. I also want to appeal to everyone to not.
She has no respect. She doesn't care about getting people sick or not.
I don't want anyone to be violent against you. I don't want anybody to do anything to you. They can disagree with you. This is America. You have your First Amendment right to be wrong. And if that's what you want to do, then you have the right to do that. But I don't want anyone to act out against you or create violence against you. That's not
I got so much to say after this.
I don't want anybody to do that. But what you're saying is infuriating to people that are losing loved ones, and I think they believe that this is absolutely absurd. I think you're being ignorant. I think you're being absurd. I think you're being ridiculous. And
get her, drill her.
I really hope that you don't really rue the day you made these ridiculous comments.
Exactly.
So, I don't think I will.
I hope not. I reached out.
Man, bro, just let her go. She's already irritated enough.
Because he violated an emergency order banning public or private gatherings of more than 50.
And people just don't care. They don't understand.
Pandemic. We're going to dial him up next. We'll be right back.
Wow. Again, this girl. I think I need to say so much about this broad, man. She doesn't care about the health of getting people sick. She's so disrespectful and not caring about whether people are gonna get it and die. And she has no respect for the authorities whatsoever and claims that old people are taking this out of proportion. We're doing this for a reason to try to get people to be safe, and you're the one not understanding. Listen, I'm 29 years old. Alright? The one thing I would never do is do that dumb stuff that they're doing. Licking toilet seats and I cannot stand this generation. I can't. I may be a part of it, but guess what? You don't see me doing that dumb crap. You know, that's why they said, wash your hands, wear a mask, carry your little bottles of hand sanitizers, wear gloves while going shopping and stuff, and order takeout. Don't go to the buffets and all these restaurants because all of them are closed. Shoot, unless you can still order food and stuff unless you want to. But the point I'm trying to make here is that this girl, she doesn't have a clue or understand the situation. She's never gonna change, and she's never gonna learn from her mistakes. And all she's doing is creating more chaos. And she doesn't even want to backtrack what she says before. One, her attitude stinks. She's too disrespectful, and she's naive, and she's a narcissistic person, just somebody who just keep on talking and talking without even listening and not even understand the problem. And she just makes me mad right now. Like just looking at her and her duck lips and yeah, I feel like these girls and Dr. Phil try to explain to her, look, there comes a point in life when you keep doing this crap, you're gonna end up dying yourself. And she took the biggest L straight up. Back to the show.
Him to join me on this Zoom session. Tuesday night service at his church, Life Tabernacle, was recently attended by law enforcement. They weren't there to worship. They were there because they said he violated an emergency order mandated by Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards.
All churches are canceled because of this.
Gatherings of more than 50 people during the coronavirus pandemic. Now, Pastor Tony admittedly had over 1,100 people at his Sunday service. That's over 22 times the amount of people allowed under the recent emergency order. Then he followed up with smaller service on a few days later where 305 people attended. That's a little over 6 times the amount of people allowed by the governor's edict. So, Pastor Tony, thank you so much for joining me.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Dr. Phil.
Well, this is clearly a difficult situation for everybody, and I can imagine for you wanting to minister to your flock and bring comfort to them and deliver the message to them. This creates a real problem because a lot of these people rely on this every week and maybe sometimes more than once a week to come and get the message and get the comfort that you provide.
That is accurate, Dr. Phil.
We're still good, y'all.
We feel that we are
Just
an
checking on my
essential
phone.
part of our community as the retail stores in all of Louisiana that remains open to this moment. So it is in persecution of the faith for us to be asked to close our doors whenever more people are being contacted in those Targets and Walmarts than are in my service. And for them to say those are essential to the community operating, I say that the church is as and more important that we assemble together. We reach out, we minister to people, we feed people. We're the last stable institution in this community today. I guarantee that.
Well, Pastor Tony, let me tell you straight up, I very much am a Christian. I've had a personal relationship with Jesus Christ since I was 13 years old. I
That's
take
cool.
this very seriously, so I have a great respect for what you're trying to do. But also, I've read everything that you were kind enough to share with us about your thinking, and I know that you also have a healthy respect for the science involved here, and I know that you don't want to put anybody at risk.
I do not.
At the same time, and you say that the stores are open, and so you're holding your doors open, and two wrongs don't make a right. And what I'm concerned about is the science of this that I've looked very hard at, and trust me, I'm not an immunologist, I'm not an infectious disease expert, and I don't pretend to be, but I have had the privilege of talking to the world's leading experts on this, and the fact of the matter is, this is not a typical virus. This is uh, much more infectious than influenza. It's much more deadly than influenza.
Yeah.
And particularly for those that are elderly with underlying respiratory disorders like COPD or asthma, something of that nature, if they get that, particularly in a part of the country where there are not a lot of respirators or ventilators or resources to help them, this could be very, very deadly. Correct. And I'm curious how you feel about that in putting these people in such exposition to one another.
My answer to that is, even if the stores were to close, we want to have the ability to exercise our First Amendment rights, which are your rights as well, but these are our freedoms that we hold dear, that Congress can pass no laws prohibiting or forbidding us to gather and assemble. That is a conviction of ours. And even if the stores were to close, we don't force anybody to come to our services. I'll tell you this, with the instability in my community today, I've ministered to 2 teenage girls, African American girls, who have attempted suicide this week.
Wow.
Because their parents have lost their jobs, their schools are closed.
Seriously?
They don't get their meals during the day. And these are
Dang.
time for them. We're ministering to them. We're not a part of the
problem. Jesus, man.
Well, Pastor, let me ask you this. And I don't know if you ever watched Dr. Phil, but I do my homework, and I found some things out about you. And what I know about you is you are a highly respected individual in your community. People look up to you, and they have a lot of trust and faith in you. So I know your reputation is one of being a very responsible individual. And because of that, you say that you certainly have the right of assembly under the Constitution, but with rights also come responsibilities. And I'm wondering if you feel the responsibility in exercising that right to set an example for people to protect themselves and be responsible in that assemblage. And if there's a way to do this where they can have the best of both worlds, where they can get the message, they can get the ministry of the Lord, and at the same time protect themselves as much as they possibly can by respecting social distancing, by using the technology of Facebook and presenting the sermons and the message over the internet, doing a conglomerate of things to get the message out to as many people as possible, and yet keep them safe at the same time.
You make an extremely powerful argument, and it's in our favor. The majority of the congregants that I minister to do not have internet. They're impoverished parts of our community, 19 different nationalities, where nobody else goes and ministers. I do not have the ability to reach them other than bringing them to a central point, which is the church house, feeding them, praying for them, preaching to them, encouraging them. Now I stand in solidarity with our law enforcement, governor, and national officials that, Pastor, this virus does not live outside. If you go outside, we will not infringe on your rights to worship at all. And that was very encouraging to me, because I'm not a revolutionary who wants to come against our government. I prayed with someone who had been exposed yesterday. As a minister, as a pastor, I have that duty to pray for them. We believe that we lay hands on the sick and people can recover, and that is yes.
There are some ways that we can do this with safety, and there's a big point that I agree with you on. And we have to take a break. When we come back, I want to tell you where you and I intersect instead of conflict. Pastor Tony says he plans to go about his plans for Sunday services as usual, and expects many buses filled with people to pull up to his church. We'll talk about what he and I agree on when we come back.
Um, at some degrees, I can understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, I wouldn't even want to have a church service during this whole coronavirus issue going on right now. And I would probably just, you know, just live stream at the church, and many of your church members can watch it on YouTube. So my church is Matthew's Memorial Baptist Church, and they went live yet last Sunday, and I watched a little bit of it, but I'm hearing somebody say that that the videos were old but nothing like new. But at the same time, it's better to have it streamed at your church than have everybody coming at your house, the house of the Lord, to worship the services rather than staying at home and watching it live on social media. That's probably the best thing to do. So getting back to what I was talking about earlier about the girl that was on the show that went viral on TikTok, and she was on Dr. Phil twice. And I have so many issues with this episode. This girl hasn't changed a bit. She hasn't learned from her mistakes. She hasn't taken any responsibilities for her actions whatsoever. And quite frankly, she took the biggest L. Not listening what the government tells them to do. Stay at home. Don't go to parties. Don't kiss people, do drugs and drink and stuff. Apparently, they haven't learned uh, uh nothing. She hasn't changed. She hasn't learned nothing. She's still stuck in this teenage mind that, yeah, I'm young, I can do whatever I want. But if something happens to you, that's on you. Don't blame the government. Don't blame older people. Blame yourself. You don't want to get yourself in this. You don't want to chose this life, and you need to get out of it. Back to the show.
I asked Pastor Tony to join me from Zoom from his church in Louisiana, where he says police officers recently told him that he violated the governor's current edict of no more than 50 people allowed to gather during the coronavirus pandemic. Pastor Tony says that won't stop him from ministering to people and plans to hold his usual Sunday service where he expects over 1,000 worshipers. Now, just before the break, I said there were some things that he and I agree about, and where it is that he and I agree is that I have said that I think this virus is very dangerous. I think it's very contagious. I think it's very deadly. But I've also said that I believe that we are going to have as much devastation and maybe as many deaths from stress and suicide and depression and
Yeah.
reactions to the economic collapse, the disintegration of families from pressure, all the things of people losing their wherewithal, mothers and fathers feeling like they can't take care of their families, all because of the fallout from this virus. And people need help with that. They need support. They need to be ministered to, which is one of the reasons that I'm here in my kitchen when I've been told that the show needs to go on hiatus because we can't bring crew in and we certainly can't have audiences.
At least you're doing a smart thing by doing it live, so doing it from your homes.
In my kitchen with no crew whatsoever.
So that way people can,
from their home because I want to deliver as much help as I can. So, Pastor Tony, I agree with you that we can't just abandon the people that we have relying on us during this difficult time. But I'm trying to figure out a way to do it where I don't put my crew in jeopardy. I don't put viewers and audience in jeopardy. I'm trying to do it where I use technology as much as I can. But you have you have a sector of the population that doesn't have a lot of these tools that you can reach them with, and that's a problem for you, right?
That is an extreme problem in my community. We're not in wealthy church affiliation by any means. And I'll tell you this, Dr. Phil, there's, as informed as we are about COVID-19, there are people that I reached out to yesterday who don't even know there's a scare.
I forgot to mention this to you guys. COVID-19 is in the Bible too, though. You might want to read that on.
Foreign people, why can we not, as a nation, come to terms on what needs to happen? Because I can go across a border a few hours in every direction. There are people assembling where restaurants are open, but in my state, the restaurant owners in my church, their doors are closed. Another week, they will lose everything that they've worked for years.
Well, let me say though, listen, you just have to look what's happening in Italy. You have to look at what's happening in China. You have to look at what's happening throughout Europe right now to know that it's just where you get into the curve as to where this virus is right now. And I wonder if you can even do some things like screen people that are coming in. I know if one of the first infectious disease experts and immunologists are telling me that one of the first symptoms of this disease is a spike in temperature. And you can have the disease for a short period of time without symptoms, but an early sign is a spike in temperature. And if those people can be sorted to a different section of the church where they're not with people that aren't infected, if there are things you can do to try to at least separate those that are infected from those who are not, you might be able to save some people. Because if you have elderly people that get infected, listen, I do believe in the power of the Lord, but I'm one of those people that believes pray to God but row for the shore. He gave us arms and he gave us oars. We got to help ourselves as well.
Yeah.
That's so powerful a point, Dr. Phil, because I have nurses in my church, dental workers.
That's not going to help.
Who have no jobs right now because their offices are closed, evidently. We're taking the precautionary measures in the quote-unquote buzz term now, social distancing. And if I have a medical professional that wants to come here because we are proceeding with our service, having temperature gun, check people's temperatures.
Yeah.
And help me instead of fighting me. Help me, because we're not a part of the problem. We're the cure to the problem. Again, if somebody has a temperature, let's put them to the side. Let's test them, because people are going to be here. Why not medical professionals help me? I'm already, after the president's live address to the nation yesterday, when the Surgeon General stated that there is an blood shortage, I called our blood bank. She called me back within minutes and said, Pastor, we are extremely low. We would love to come. And there's an part of my sanctuary, 2,000 square foot area where they are going to set up and have a blood drive on my facility Sunday morning. Isn't that something?
Well, it is. And I know that you plan to bus in children, and
yes, sir.
You may come into conflict with the National Guard, and I hope that doesn't happen. And I absolutely.
There's a whole lot of buses there, ain't it? Y'all see that?
Right place, and you're asking for people.
I don't think my church will ever do something like that, especially when this whole coronavirus situation is like
feeds a lot of people.
building up
you minister
badly.
to a lot of people. And I don't think you're trying to be reckless in any way whatsoever. And
I mean, at least he cares for his community, so I can respect that.
Will hear what is being said here, and that they will step up and try to help you find a way to safely minister to these people with the Lord's message and keep people safe at the same time. Because I believe your heart's in the right place, and if there's a way to segregate those out and keep everybody safe, then we'll hopefully do that. So, the question is Pastor Tony prepared to be physically removed from a worship service the next time officials intervene? I guess we'll find out. So I hope that's not the case. We'll be right back.
I mean, you can basically tell that he cares for his community, and That's the one thing I can respect about Pastor, the pastor, um, at Louisiana. So I think him and Dr. Phil should work together because I really feel like, to me, you know, the pastor of his hometown is so caring for his community up in Louisiana. And yeah, I mean, he says that he has nurses up in his church, but I don't think that's good enough to have nurses. Like, you need to have your full on medical staff up in church that can help people get better, especially your church members, so that way they wouldn't be affecting people. Or you could just stay at home, do live services at the church without everybody there, and many of your church members can watch it on YouTube while you guys stream. So you can worship the Lord at home while your pastor and your praise team are singing and preaching up in your church. That right there could be a good idea every Sunday until this whole COVID-19, this whole situation ends. So that's just the way I see it. And again, I support what this dude is, what this pastor is doing for his community. But man, like, did y'all see like what 5 or 10 buses up in the uh, up in the parking lot? Like, good lord! Like, he should have just listened. He should have just done what the officers were telling him to do. Stay at home. Don't do any church services unless you're, like I said, unless you're doing it live and people at home are basically watching it. Then you're good to go. But still, I wouldn't even think that you would violate you know, their orders. Because, like I said, if you don't want to like do what they tell you to do, then it's your loss, basically. And the one thing that I like, like for the life of me, the one thing I've learned about, I basically learned from this whole experience myself, is just don't give up. And it's bad enough that everybody is suffering left and right, but I don't think you have people praying for them and stuff. And that's what is important as Christians, is to pray for those who are in the sick, uh, that they're going through a tough situation in their lives. Uh, some people don't like to pray. That's okay, but what we can do is pray for them, and that's the way I see it. Back to the show, you guys.
Join me via Zoom. Despite having his state banning all gatherings over 50 people due to the coronavirus pandemic, he says he will continue to hold his usual Sunday service, which is expected to attract over 1,000 worshipers. Now, I've talked to the pastor about alternative ways of delivering his message, but he does not have an affluent congregation, and they don't have computers. He can't deliver a FaceTime message, and some of them are rather isolated in Louisiana and didn't even know that there was a pandemic moving through the country and around the world right now. So they're rather isolated, and uh, it, I can tell you, being from the South, the church is oftentimes the center of the community, the center of the family, and this is where people go. This is their life. And um, we talked to an internet um, individual before, Ava, and
Oh, Ava,
Pastor
yeah.
Tony, you have a very different attitude than that young lady did. You
Yeah,
don't
Ava, I don't like
believe
her.
that this is a made up
I despise her for what she said.
pandemic. You don't believe
Being
that
careless
this is
or that.
some conspiracy. You very much respect that this is a very real health challenge right now for people, correct?
Yes, sir. We are in agreement with that. Dr. Field, I have constitutional lawyers that worshiped with me Tuesday night who will be here Sunday morning as well, who are just as passionate about us continuing with our service um, for our First Amendment rights.
So some of your parishioners were actually suspended from their jobs because they attended this large gathering, correct?
They were in my service. That live stream video got out. When they went into work the next morning, they were asked to go home without pay. Their argument was everybody in here was also at the store yesterday, at the gym yesterday. Why am I being singled out? That, my friend, is a persecution for the faith. Send everybody home, then we don't have a double standard. There's no problem. But to single someone out because they came to church, who were exposed to as many people as you were in that target, don't be afraid of that call. That is discrimination, and we have convictions, Dr. Field. The pressure of our friends, the pressure of our family, the threat of a lawsuit, the threat of imprisonment, and as each of the 11 of the 12 disciples of Jesus Christ died martyr's death will not separate us from our conviction of congregating, assembling together.
I don't agree with
Pastor,
that.
I hope yes. I hope that talk is not prophetic. And let me ask you this: if you were diagnosed with coronavirus, would you continue to meet with your parishioners if you knew you had this highly contagious virus, COVID-19? Would you continue to meet with your parishioners?
I don't say that I would. I'm happy to be tested. I have a strong immune system. I've never spent a day in hospital in my life. I'm happy to be tested.
I don't believe you do have a strong system.
But
because
that's a great point. I'm not going to endanger anyone, but I do expect our services to continue with others who will fill my shoes.
But I don't think the Lord.
Storm
but I don't think God would want you to continue the services while this whole coronavirus thing is still going on.
Discussing this with me,
I don't agree with that one bit.
I know that you're a very well respected leader in the community, and I appreciate you having this conversation. And you said if they send everybody home, then okay, just don't discriminate. That's what's happened in California, and I think that's what's getting ready to happen in Louisiana. So I don't think you're going to have a debate about this. We're locked down here, and we can't go anywhere. We're a shelter at home in California. And I think it's going to happen real soon. I'll give you just a few seconds, then we're out of time. Go ahead. You have the last word.
Dr. Field, the cannabis retailers in California remain open, yet you are quarantined and CBS studios have evidently closed, which is why y'all are at home. That, my friend, is in violation of yours and everybody in California who are my minister friend rights. They cannot worship today, but these mind-altering chemical sellers can still operate.
What?
That's my last word.
All right. Well, I hear what you say, and I just need to say I appreciate you talking to me, and you've been very open and straightforward about this. And God bless you, and I wish you the best.
God bless you, friend. Keep us in prayer. We're praying for you.
We'll be right back.
I don't agree with that. Some of the stuff he said really makes me question, where his head is at, basically. The part when he basically said that 19 or 16 different disciples are basically doing God's work, and you're basically saying that you're not gonna let that stop you from work, having like church services, and that you're gonna have everybody at risk of catching this disease, because when you sit there and say that the studio, nobody's at the studios, and then you claim that that's discrimination, Like, bruh, I don't think the Lord wouldn't want you to continue the services at the church because of the coronavirus and stuff. So what you just did really basically shows that you clearly not understanding, you know, what the governor is telling you. That's what I have a problem with. That's why, um basically trying to figure out what exactly are you saying. And I just don't get it. It's like the more I hear this preacher talks, yeah, he's very intelligent and smart and he cares about his community, but the problem is you can't have these services while these coronavirus is spreading. That's how people die from it. That's how people get sick from it because they're not staying home. Like, I just wish that these people would just listen and get it through their thick skulls and understand. And I clearly think that they don't get it. I mean, Emma, I already hate her already. Well, I don't hate her. I just don't like her. So I just hope that we're all gonna take this as a learning tree, as a lesson. If there's like a big disease going on, please stay at home. Please stay at home. Unless you're going to the store or a doctor or a drugstore, you can do that, but don't go anywhere else. So let this be a lesson. Back to the show.
Naysayers leading the charge against the coronavirus pandemic, I want to tell those naysayers some things that may change their perspective. Look, this is very real. The numbers are very real. The contagion is very real. This is much more contagious than influenza. So if you tell yourself, hey, listen, it's just the same as the flu, what can I tell you? That's not the case. It is much more contagious. And I, for one, am going to follow the guidelines that are set out. Do
I am
want to
too.
do that? No, of course I don't. I don't want to be trapped at home. I don't want to not be able to go anywhere, go out to dinner, see friends. But we have to make sacrifices for ourselves and those we love.
Yeah.
Please take this seriously. This is a sacrifice we need to make.
Exactly.
I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you.
And like I said, guys, let this experience teach you something. So I think what we just witnessed and what we just reacted to was the prime example of these generations who do not understand about the situation. The numbers are real. Everything about this is really real. So you better follow the guidelines and please take this seriously. Protect yourself, protect your family, wash your hands, take care of your health and your body, and make sure you eat healthy because that is what's gonna beat the coronavirus. Like I'm telling y'all, this is not a joke. You better wake up and you better understand. And COVID-19 is in the Bible, so you better start reading it too. And yeah, that's my reaction to Dr. Phil episode 126. Like I said, guys, if you're watching this, please take this as precaution. Understand right from wrong. Learn from right and wrong. Don't go around these parties. Don't go to spring breaks. Don't go any clubs or whatever. And don't be looking toilet seats and stuff. Looking at ice cream, coughing on stuff in the stores. Do not do all of that. Because we had so many people getting arrested, going to jail because of it. We're trying to protect ourselves and we're trying to slow down the spread. And if you don't care, and guess what? You're going to be buried under 6 feet if you don't start taking these precautions seriously. Because this is not a joke and this is not a game, y'all. I'm telling you. And as for that broad that was on there, yeah, she's dumb and she's stupid. That's all I have to say. If y'all enjoy my reaction, let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you're new and if you're just tuning in to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and follow me on Instagram. Don't forget to click the bell, be a part of the DC viewers. This is Devin from DHR2 Productions, and I'm out. Peace. I love y'all. God bless.